It's a special episode of the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast because it's a Sunday, and B, we have a special guest we'll get to in a second. But first, I'm Jamal, Will Mahoney from the Snack Society. I would be great if you could say hi, Will.
There we go. A little technical difficulties as we get started. But yes, indeed, it's a very fine Sunday night here on the Big Gold Belt. And I'm very excited tonight because we have a very unique interview that we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, I hope so. 2 Chains is here also. How you doing, sir?
What up? What up?
Yep, that's right into the point. I like that. But now a special guest is referee Chris Sharpe. You should know him. You definitely see him. Chris, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How are you? I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Good, dude. Good to have you.
Heck yeah, man. This will be a different episode. Have you guys had the chance to talk to a referee before?
No, you're definitely breaking that mold right now.
I love it.
Yeah, so this is a lot of people know you as a referee, but obviously I know you as a professional karaoke master. You have proven that Commonwealth Cup weekend. Check out that exclusive content on his Twitter page because that was something that night.
not my best performance.
Dude, they wasn't feeling it because everyone was going up there singing all these classicals, but you said, forget this, I'm going up here and I'm rapping. I was like, yeah, I'm with you, man.
I'll try to be a little different. I'd rather try and fail than not try at all.
Hey, you nailed it, dude. And then you was like, I don't think these guys know what these lyrics are. I'm like, I do. So
dude, I didn't either. The way that they came up on the screen is like one line at a time, but the other 3 lines are still kind of there. And it was weird. It threw me off. I'm used to hearing, I can sing it myself all the time in the gym or in the shower or whatever, but it's a little different when people are watching.
You go to his Twitter page to see what the song was, but who was the artist? Because I wasn't there.
It was Tupac.
Okay. That's probably the most 2018 thing I've heard this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we try to go a little different with it. I went with Changes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that is different.
So
yeah,
a little bit different feel. I wasn't coming all too hardcore, you know.
Yeah,
well,
definitely, you definitely were familiar with the lyrics. I mean, even the way you did it.
Got a chance to get a fellow referee on the stage with me, get him introduced to everyone. It was a good night.
This is true. But again, thank you for coming on. I forgot how we got to this point, but I knew we were chatting once, and we were like, yeah, we need to do this, and then you were just like, but I want to wait. I promise you it'll be worth the wait. And sure enough, it has.
Just give me a month. And I've had a freaking crazy month.
Crazy is an understatement, dude. Seriously.
It's been amazing, man.
Yeah, we definitely want to start off by congratulating you on all the success. And I mean, by all metrics, not just, appearing on TV everywhere you go, but I mean, taking a leap of faith and, cashing in and working here, working there. I mean, you're everywhere.
Thanks, man. This has been my whole life. I never grew out of this. There have been time and time again where I've packed up and moved and got real used to saying goodbye to friends and family and not being there for stuff. And I've just made this my life. And I'm 30 years old now. I started this 15 years ago. I've been doing this for half of my life.
Man,
I started training at 15 years old, and then I broke in and I started refereeing or managing or wrestling a little bit. I really wanted to be a wrestler my first few years, but I would take bookings whatever I could get because I was just starting out. I think it was still like a year before I had my first match. And all this time, now that I'm this many years in, I still train weekly as a wrestler and a referee. I don't really aspire to be a wrestler anymore. I'm very happy with the way my career's taken off now that I focus on just becoming the best referee I could be. And yeah, man, it's crazy that it's taken me from like literally learning in someone's mom's backyard to getting to see other countries and stuff. And I don't know, man, I do kind of feel like I'm doing stuff that not a lot of other referees do, not a lot of wrestlers do. And I'm just going to keep trying to see what I can get myself into. And that way, by the end of this whole thing, I'll have a really, really crazy story to tell.
I mean, you're far from complacent. I mean, even now, you know, working, doing shows and stuff for WWE, New Japan, you're still saying, "Hey, you need a ref, come holler at me." And I mean, that shows a level of hunger to me that every time I get a second, I always want to congratulate you because, like, you just have not lost the will at all.
Thanks, man. I want to, like I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to be great at this. I'm not worried about being better than everybody else. I'm not worried about being the best, but I want to be the best me that I can be. And I want to be the best team player, and I want to be on 1 billion shows. Just within the last month, I surpassed 4,000 matches on shows.
I was going to bring that up. Yep,
Wow.
you definitely hit a huge
somebody was helping me figure that out. And for a while there, I wasn't too much of a nerd about that stuff. And there was one point, in time where I was like, I got to write down everything. And then I had to end up like backtracking when I got lazy with it. But I'm really cool that I kept up with stuff like that, because now looking back, it's kind of amazing, because I know a lot of wrestlers who have been doing this for a long time, and obviously I'm not the one throwing my back down to the canvas all the time and stuff like that like they are. So it's not like I'm doing what they're doing the same way. But I know a lot of wrestlers that, have been doing this for 10, 15 years, and they have really great careers and maybe have like half that number. So I do feel really blessed that I've been able to stay busy for a sustained amount of time.
The upside of getting to work more than one time a night, I guess, compared to your typical wrestlers who are one and done.
Absolutely. And I'm such a nerd for this stuff that I just study. So after about 3 years of goofing around on the indies here and working kind of like whatever shows, I decided I wanted to do it for real. So I packed up and moved to Ohio Valley Wrestling. It was at that point when I was refereeing 300-pound, really like serious, like current and former WWE stars and stuff like that, maybe I should just stick to refereeing. But I still took all the wrestling classes. I worked with Rip Rogers 2 times a week for 6 years. Oh, boy. And I did all the stuff that he would have all the wrestlers do. I had a certain kind of hustle in me, and I like the physicality. And like maybe a few times a year, there'd be some crazy storyline where I end up in a wrestling match as the referee getting bullied or something like that. But yeah, I never wanted to not do the wrestling part of it. I teach wrestling classes when I'm in Virginia now. I taught a class today. I jammed my thumb somehow. And we opened up the garage door because it was super hot, and somehow a bee got under my shirt and stung me in the ribs, like right underneath my armpit.
What?
And then, yeah, and then we just had to have 4.5 hours of hardcore wrestling to go right after that.
Jammed fingers, bee stings, and you've, I'm sure, had Rip Rogers give you a tongue lashing. So
yeah, just time to start class.
That covers all the bases.
Yeah, you're about a second away from a paper cut now. I mean, all the anomalies have just fallen into place.
So yeah, I love it. I stay busy. I want to do it everywhere I go, at any level. Whether I'm working really amazing shows or the next weekend I'm working like a carnival show somewhere. It's all great experience to me. Everything's different. And as a referee, I got to absorb so much stuff so much quicker than the boys, because I'm in there constantly with people that are on my level, or if not way better. And yeah, these days it goes both ways. Sometimes I'm the most experienced guy in the ring, but I love that too, because I have this wrestling background. I can secretly help these guys get through 15 minutes or whatever, and everybody's going to be safe, and we're going to get these people on their feet by the end of it. And just stuff that I always thought, well, I might as well keep practicing this kind of stuff because it's only going to make me better at being a referee anyways. And I'm glad I did.
Typically, as a referee on a show, how many matches are you doing like a night? Is it like 2 matches, 3 matches? It just depends how many refs are there for that show. Like,
yeah, I would say most independent shows these days really have 2, maybe 3 referees. At these Nova Pro events where I see you guys, the other night we had 12 matches, which is crazy.
You definitely did the hour one.
So we did 3 each. Yes, I was requested to do the hour-long opening match with 13 finishes to help make sure that this thing stays on track. So, but that's what I'm talking about, and that's super rewarding to me, that they're like, hey, we kind of need you for this one. Yeah. So, and that's what I'm there for at this point. I do feel like I'm at a point where, no, I don't know everything. I'm ready to work with the best on a consistent level and learn from them and try to just keep getting better every time. But I do know that I have a unique set of experiences and skills that people in this area don't have, and I haven't actually lived in Virginia in the last 10 years, or maybe even a little bit longer at this point. But it's still home to me, so I feel like I want to try to give back in any way I can.
So considering that you did work that pre-show match, which was a gauntlet match, and it did feature a lot of talent who were just returning back to Nova Pro, and timing has definitely been an issue with some of the shows, but that was really well paced, and everything was crisp.
We just needed to literally fill just about an hour to hit 8 o'clock for the show to start.
Right.
And I don't know if it exactly even started at 7, but I know the match hit exactly its time. And that is a big thing for someone trying to be a professional referee. You're really kind of like a floor director. You're in there to help make sure that this show kind of runs smoothly.
Yeah, no, it definitely nailed right at 8. I was actually standing next to Mike, and I was like, dude, this was paced perfect. And he was very pleased. So I'm wondering when you're
from there, I don't know what happened because that show ended up taking quite a while.
Yes, indeed it did.
But hey, man, some things are just gonna happen. Some of the guys are just kind of gonna want to do what they want, and I mean, I ain't putting heat on nobody else, but all my matches went home on time.
So in a way, you get to be the ringmaster and keep everyone in line a bit. All right, you got to wrap it up. Got to go home.
Exactly. Especially if you hope to work on television at some point, which I know I have a unique experience that I've done this a bunch of times now. When I went to Ohio Valley Wrestling, it was a smaller television, but we worked television the same way WWE Talent was taught. And so I was able to pick up a lot of these skills really quickly. And I even say that there's a huge difference in doing a major indie show that's filmed well versus working for TV. And timing is a huge, huge part of that. And for some people, I mean, I think that if you're a wrestler and you're given 15, 20 minutes, it's real easy to tell a story, isn't it? Because you got enough time to tell that story. But if you start getting tryout matches, or maybe you even get a match on Raw, the things are often going to be a lot shorter than that. So you've got to know how to get yourself over, get your opponent over, and tell a nice little story in a very short amount of time. And that's why that was good practice for these guys doing that. And also good practice for me just to help keep things on track.
Yeah, the execution was definitely there. Everyone left.
Thanks, buddy.
Everyone definitely left their prospective matches in a gauntlet match. Head up high. Everything was crisp. I mean, it was definitely the start of the show we needed.
Yeah, and it's a crazy situation. Anytime you've got even like 4-ways or 5-ways or scramble matches or whatever, it can always end up being what we call a cluster.
Oh yeah, and that's the nice name, nice way of saying that.
Yeah, that is. That's the PG version.
So let's take a quick step back. You brought up Richmond a couple of times. Now, not too long ago, a show was ran in Richmond, man. Pure Wrestling, which was something that you, the Progressive Liberal, and someone else, who am I forgetting?
Timmy Danger.
Yes, was firmly behind the promotion of that, which ultimately was a very, very successful event. Got a lot of media coverage and everything. You were definitely, like I said, one of the focal points of this. And at the same time, you're also, preparing for that, but also preparing to go to the UK. How do you split your time like that? I mean, that's literally the alone to run that promotion for that show to run that show. Coming back again and all the work you had to do for that, but yet also making preparation to another country. Like, how exactly do you split your devotion like that?
So I want a lot to The Rock and a lot of Gary Vee. And I'll tell you what, man, you know what else started it? And I like to think I'm a pretty vibrant dude, and I just live my life a certain way where I don't really let stuff get to me anymore. And it took me a long time to figure that out. But something that really helped is I was a debt collection manager.
Okay.
So I had experience kind of being a leader for a while, back and forth while I was refereeing at OVW. And then when I moved to Florida, I got a job doing it down there at a call center. And I had to learn how to talk and stuff like that and develop those skills. And that was crazy and still very useful to this day. But anyways, that's not what it's about. What it's about is they ended up moving all of our business overseas. So it didn't matter how good we were doing. They could pay other employees from Mexico way, way less to do the same job. So I lost a really good job. And what I would do is I had that extra money, because a lot of times, especially the first few years, trying to be a referee, if you want to get your name out there, it's going to be really tough, because it's even better now than it was 10 years ago, put it that way. But nobody used to give a crap about the referees. It would just be, let me book my cousin or a trainee or whatever. Or if somebody did care about good refs and you wanted to go from state to state to try to get your name out there some way, like the boys do, and you see what works for the people that are actually getting paid to do this. So you want to kind of model it and do it your own way. So I got to kind of walk a fine line with promoting myself as a referee. But really, I just try to keep it real. And it's just half of my promotion is really promotion of the promotion I'm working for and the people that are going to be on the show. So that ends up helping me out. But even the good places that did care about booking good referees, they've already got their referees. And they don't need a fourth referee or something like that. So it was really tough for a while. And I just had to keep pushing and just keeping really busy. And when I lost my job, I said, well, and I couldn't even take unemployment, because at the time I was just finishing up a visa process with my wife, who is British, who now has dual citizenship, to finish up her thing. And if I was on some sort of government assistance, it would have looked bad and could have messed up the whole thing. So I was just put in a position where I was like, I got to make this wrestling thing work even more than ever now. And I had already done a lot of cool stuff, but being so busy with the real job, I just kind of mostly worked within the state of Florida. And there are a couple things that are really good there, and there's a lot that's not so good. And so I still, even at that point, wanted to branch out more. When I lived in Kentucky, I would go to Ohio or Chicago or whatever I could, more than just the OVW that I was there for. And just had to freaking make it work, man. And it just took literally like this last year and a half, 2 years, to where I felt like I really started gaining some real traction. And I'm constantly working with the people that I consider to be the best in the world that aren't already snatched up by a major company that would prevent them from working with me. And because I'm a referee, I'm working with countless numbers of them at this point. And I think it just took me a while of eating the crap and losing money and just doing what I got to do to get myself out there and get better and be with better people and learn from better people and always go to seminars and tryouts and contact WWE and see what I can do when they come around, and just doing this for year after year after year after year and packing up and moving and all this same crap. And I literally just kind of feel like in the last year or two, it's really kind of paying off. And now I'm going, I mean, I've been going back and forth to England for the last 8 years, but now it's on like much bigger shows, and like I got a group of great friends and people that really care for me and people that want to help me, you know, stay busy over there and stuff. So it's amazing. You just make connections, I think, by busting your butt and being good to people and put yourself out there all the time, and something to work out. But WWE's never going to have your number on speed dial. You know what I mean? They're not coming to these indie shows to watch what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you only stay in your area, then that's great. You could be the best of your area, but you're not proving yourself or getting your name out there against anyone else. And it's just going to be hard for you to attain what you probably started this to try to attain.
I
And
mean,
a lot of people lose focus along the way, too. I mean, a lot of times it's their own fault.
It's
So
truly a testament to your character and who you all the way around.
So, the Progressive Label, Dan Richards and Timmy Danger are putting together a show in Richmond. Richmond's my city. If something's going on and it's wrestling, then I want to be a part of it. Obviously, these guys are my friends anyways. So I was going to intend to be the only referee on the match. Well, about 2.5 weeks out, they had done all the hard work of getting a lot of sponsors. That was great. Obviously, they helped take care of making sure the building is covered, the talent's covered before we even start worrying about ticket sales.
Yeah.
They did it. They acquired the building. They got the ring. They did that introductory hard work, but they hadn't sold really any tickets left yet. They had a couple media things lined up, but immediately I messaged like 8 different news people. I was like, all right, I'm jumping on board, and we're gonna freaking sell this place out, because I've got my family coming too, and I want them to see a good show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we got it out there, and I think the official number, well, I can't say official because it's roundabout, but it was around about 485. Now, there are a lot of people that ended up just like going up to the bar afterwards and drinking and stuff and watching through the window every now and then. But that's cool. They already came in paying to see us. So 485 was the official number. We sold out online the morning of. They ended up putting our results on the news the next night like it was a sport. It was awesome. So, but that was only one show. So, yeah. I don't want to say anybody can do it, but at the same time, kind of anybody can do it once. So we've got our next show scheduled for September 7th back in Richmond, Virginia. At this point, and I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit later, but I'm going to be out of town while that's happening, so I'll actually miss out on that.
Oh, so
but I'm sure it'll be great.
Going to be involved with promoting it remotely from across the pond?
I am. They want me to help make like graphics and videos and stuff like that. I taught myself all this stuff, man. It's crazy. I just wanted to get involved. And as a referee, I can't sell merch, or I could, but I might look like a goof. And there's a time where I've done it before, yeah, but I've just kind of grown up from that now. I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser, and how I feel about it's different. But I got to find other ways if I want to make money off of wrestling other than just the shows. So I had to learn to make posters, or I make videos or whatever, and people PayPal me and stuff. And it might be for promotions I don't even referee for, but it helps every month.
Every little bit that can come in can add up and pay the bills one way or another. It's great.
It's still me making money off of my passion. Yeah, what I've been working hard to do.
It's guerrilla marketing, and whether you're refereeing and counting the 3 count, or you're a hot dog for Adam Rose, I saw on your Instagram
a couple of times. I was the last Rose bud. Yeah, I did do that. Anything to get into the business.
Dude, I mean, I'm just thinking about this. Initially, upon trying to get the show, like you just like, okay, just wait, and now I'm just like, all right, okay, they got the Richmond show that just did really good. I couldn't make it out to it, but everyone's raving about it. How good it was. A lot of good media came from out of it. A lot of media pressed forward. Next day, Monday Night Raw. Oh, I know that guy right there. Then you just look over. Then it's one thing after another. UK Championship Tournament, the NXTUK, Rev Pro, the Strong Style Evolve. I'm like, I was like, just throw all the notes away, because at this point now, we it's so much new stuff coming out. The stuff that I was going to use like a month ago no longer is even important even more.
Well, dude, I appreciate it. You've put me over better than I deserve and better than I can. So that's awesome. Thank you. And yeah, it's crazy and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean. I try to take congratulations every time I can, because it's motivation. You know, it's not obviously my trajectory in life, but to see someone to literally, you know, reach out and just keep taking more steps ahead in their dreams, and it's like so damn evident in your face. I mean, you have no choice but to give the guy props. That's hard work.
I mean, never did I think growing up that I would do New Japan and stuff like that. Get real.
Yeah,
And you know what it is, and I don't want this to come off in like a cocky way or whatever, but I really think that I've just tried to stay on track and work real hard and be good to people and always help other people out and be happy instead of jealous of their successes. And I just kind of feel like maybe this is a little bit of good karma coming back around, and it just feels good, man. Just on a human level, it feels good.
Absolutely.
Now, Chris, I want to ask you a question about refereeing itself. It seems to be a thankless job. You're kind of the conductor of the orchestra, making sure that everybody hits their notes and stuff. How much of the match do you know about before you go into it? And when it's time to go home, you know, what's the are there problems with communicating to wrestlers like that, you know, want to do their own thing? Or I mean, we've seen matches where it kind of got out of control. You kind of ask what happened. You know, how much of that is on the referee and how much of that is on the wrestler?
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and break it down. 1, thank you. That's awesome. 2, I don't mind that it's a thankless job. I think that it's a very, I don't think it's a thankless job in the back. I think the boys really appreciate someone that's busting their butt to help them out and just make this story that we're trying to tell better. And that's what I try to offer, rather than just being somebody new at this who ends up really just kind of being the way and something else on these guys' plates on the indies that they have to worry about all the time. The referee is like an extra worry, whereas I can really help you out, whatever you need, you know. And I'm going to be there to make sure that we go on time, or that I give you as many time cues as possible so you know where we're at and you don't have to guess and think and worry about stuff. And I'm going to do it in a calm manner that keeps you calm, instead of freaking you out saying 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Because sometimes I literally have to tell people to breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Take your time. You got this.
Yeah.
Here you go. You hear them? They're coming up. They're starting to come up. Let's start moving a little bit. And really guide them through every little thing. All right, now put your right hand down. All right, use your knee to get up or whatever, you know? It's good. It's good. Now, there are a lot of times where if it's I got a dog barking in the background, sorry.
No
worries. Tell him to jump on the show, too. We got questions.
Yeah. There are a lot of times where it's newer people, and I'll probably want to know everything that they intend to do. Whether we do it or not is also different to me. There will be a lot of times where I feel confident enough with whoever I'm in there with to offer a change of plans. Maybe the match that they planned was comedy, and it's just not that kind of crowd tonight. They're not getting with it, and if we're going to save this match, we got to change it up. And that kind of stuff happens quite a lot.
And if I can just jump in there real quick, I would imagine because of the fact that, you know, potentially this may not have been your first match that you ref that night, so you already have a sense of what the crowd is feeling or what they may need at this point.
Yeah, so or you can just hear them. Once you've been doing it a while, you can just hear them cheer at the beginning of the show. If it's like high-pitched voices, it's going to be kids and families. If it's deep voices, they're going to probably want to see a little bit more violence and just good wrestling and action.
So is it always a clear conciseness of like what the crowd is? I mean, because I can already imagine like a Nova crowd and a Richmond crowd is totally different.
Absolutely, yeah. So we just offer a different show.
Okay.
But you go to a show where you start filling up 10 and 13,000 people or whatever for a Monday Night Raw, then you're going to get a little bit of everything. A lot of it's really going to be families.
Yeah.
And because their kids wanted to come or something like that. And then you're going to get us adults who just love it, and we're going to go anyways too. But we're going to be vocal about different things. So even then, you've got to really just find a balance.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jamal. I mean, cut you off.
So I'm going to ask you about, specifically, Yuji Nagata and Walter. And you have two guys that obviously, right. So you have two guys that know each other, that know, the ring inside and out. Is that harder to referee? Or because, you can just cruise control, just give them the cues and keep them moving? Or is it more important for you to make sure that this high profile match goes off flawlessly?
So that match, you're dealing with two professionals. They're probably going to do just fine and have already kind of, if they got a certain amount of time, you can probably count on them to do what their job is. And there's like no pressure on that show. Just super awesome. Sold out. Just a good night to work up a good sweat and rep your butt off. And just really try to be tight and there for everything and animated without taking away from them. It's not about me. I'm just a little background character. So anything I do is really going to try to be subtle anyways. I'm not going to be like, oh, that was a crazy move. You know what I mean? Unless they're like deep in the match in a submission and I'm like really getting in their face. So I'm only kind of like matching their emotion. And it was just fun to bounce off and play off of because these guys do so many cool little detailed things. I think that's the difference anyways. Wrestlers who do details. I mean, think about it. You can pull anybody off the street and teach them how to do like an arm drag, right? But there's a reason why you like seeing Ricky Steamboats or Mickey James more or whatever, right? So it's all the little detailed stuff. So that breaks down to us referees too. Some referees oversell a lot of moves. Some referees just stand in the corner and don't really offer too much to it. Some are all like trying to get in like too close and like check on them too much and almost in a way that they're trying to make it more about them. And really we're just like a supporting role. And that match was really easy for me to just go in there and be a supporting role. And, we hit, I'm pretty sure we did great on our time. And, that whole week was fun because some of the guys obviously speak a little bit of English. I speak zero Japanese. Earlier in the week, I taught 2 wrestling classes with my brother-in-law, Chris Silvio, over in Pisa, Italy, where maybe like 2 or 3 of the guys knew some English, and they aren't necessarily fluent or anything. So I had to almost kind of learn 2 languages that week. But because the people I was working with were so good, there wasn't as much of a factor as you probably think it would be.
So real quick, Will, how do you not get lost in the match as a fan? You have the best seat of anybody in the house. You're literally in the ring with them. and you have to, you know, for all the work that you have to do, it's easy to get lost as a fan when you see a guy like Ricochet do a 630 3 feet in front of you.
He's awesome. I've done a few of his matches now. He's amazing. You know what? Because I treat it like every single time that I'm out there, it's like an audition to be asked to come back, whether that's a small show or WWE. And so I'm alert, I'm focused, and I want this. I'm not here to goof around. I'm here to show, hey, one day, if the opportunity comes up and the stars align, I'd love to freaking headline your WrestleMania, right? But so I've got to be the best every time I'm out there. We don't got time to be messing up anymore. I've gone through my phases, and I'm just not going to say I'm not ever going to mess up again. Of course I am. That's how you learn and grow and get better every time. But it's few and far between now because I just do the best I can to help out and be there. And at this point, it does often end up being on a lot of these independents where I happen to be the more experienced person in the ring out of the three of us. And so really I'm trying to stay focused to help them out. I'm not just always watching so much anymore, I guess. And I'm sure when I was younger, like the first few times I worked with names or whatever, you know, they probably got caught up in it a little bit. But now I get caught up in it emotionally because I'm so invested in what we're doing to help freaking slap that mad heart at the right time. You know what I mean? And just get people to buy into it a little bit. And it's got two amazing dudes whooping ass and you got a really crappy ref, it can really take down the quality of a match. And if you got a really great ref and you got two green guys, it can really help save that match.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was wondering about. So I mean, you got really the total ends of the spectrum. Where like one night you're doing Nagata and Walter, where you probably just got to give a couple time cues, just kind of be in position where you need to be, and not much else. Let them drive the car, and you got the best seat in the house. To the other end of the spectrum, where you probably got your local little indie shows where you got two green guys and maybe a month under their belt each, and you probably got to hold both of their hands the whole way through. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what they get to.
Yeah.
So you straight up got to like call the match for both of them and pretty much like spoon feed them through however much time they got to get where they're going to go.
Absolutely, man. Whatever it takes, because it's really no different than when I'm helping to coach at these wrestling classes anyways. I'll say, go ahead and feet up to your left. You know what I mean? I might have to tell them every little thing.
Wow.
Don't walk them to the rope. Just squat down and throw them from right there. Give them a elbow. Put on your foot. Boom.
Uh-oh.
Hold up, Chris. You're cutting out a little bit.
That's Somali internet.
Really.
Chris, you're cutting out a little bit in there.
Oh, there. I think he might be back.
All right.
Sorry, are we back?
There, I'm here. Is it?
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, if you wanted to be you, Will, it can be you. Will, Chris, you're cutting a little bit. You're cutting out completely in there.
We got everybody.
There he is.
We're back. That's some material you're gonna have to give us again. You there, buddy?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We thought the dog got you.
Oh gosh. So let me just wrap this up actually by saying it's crazy that we can be out there and literally have like full conversations with each other and work each other through step by step what we need to do to get the objective accomplished, and half the people wouldn't never even know.
So you did mention the language barrier could sometimes be an issue within training, but what about actually being in the ring refereeing as far as calls being, coming into you and then you actually having to translate that over to someone else?
I just read exactly what I hear.
Okay. I guess so, right?
And hope for the best.
Yeah. Now, I do have more of a technical question. I actually want to come back to something else too. So you do say that you want to put on your best show because you always feel like you're auditioning, which is one hell of a mentality that a lot of people need to actually take with them everywhere, especially within the rest of the world.
Especially as a wrestler, I mean, you can't always expect to just come out and hope that everybody knows you. You got to come through that curtain with some real fire or something.
I mean, seriously. I mean, we seen it at the No Reproach Tryout show. I mean, literally, some people didn't have their music, some people didn't have all their gear. Just like, this is a trial show. You want to be on this roster, you need to have it all together. And then you come through the crowd, through the curtain, and you got like, we know who you are because you yell like, So, but with that being said, not only do you have to put on a professional wherever you work, but I want to know, how do you translate that of what you do in some of these promotions, some of the big time promotions, but how do you take all of that and then present a resume to WWE?
At this point, my story is kind of interesting because I've put myself out there for quite a while. I've happened to work with a large portion of their current roster. So it helps people that, were fun to work with back in the day, or willing to reach a hand out sometimes if they know that you're not going to mess their name up and you're going to work hard and do good for the company. And every now and then, obviously, you see Monday Night Raw or SmackDown every week. There are always a certain amount of extras. These are local wrestlers hoping to get noticed, or maybe one of these days get offered a bigger tryout or a job. And sometimes they get wrestling matches. Sometimes they're, security or whatever, or a hot dog. And I think if you're just especially these days more than ever, it seems, WWE is just paying attention to what's going on out there and who's at the top of their game and consistently traveling and working with the best around. And so when opportunities come up, these are going to be the people that are more likely to be on their mind.
Network people, stay friendly, and it is always good to have a friend in high places, it seems.
Well, yeah, I mean, just be a good dude and show that you're not going to be so weird that these people don't mind spending 300 days a year around you, and just always be good to people. It can be so genuine, and you don't got to like backstab anybody or anything to get to the top. I offer every referee that asks me advice. If I think I can help them, then I'm going to tell them everything I possibly can and try to be like a mentor to these people. I don't look at it. Then sometimes you go to these wrestling shows and some of the referees can be very selfish, or they want all the big matches or whatever. How many main events have I refereed at Nova Pro? 0 in the last year. I always give them to Todd because he needs that experience.
Interesting. I was strangely enough, I was about to say last night, then I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, man. I just go where they need me, where they could use the help, such as that hour-long 13-finish gauntlet match. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be selfish with it. I know I can help these people, and I just feel like if I am a good person and I keep working hard, then it's going to work out for me anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much our philosophy here on the show too. We always try to this network, and we're all friendly to everyone, and it's no status quo or anything, or any level of working with someone or having someone on or anything. This is just fun,
and I let you guys go as far as you want. You should be interviewing the WWE champion 1 year from now.
Yeah, that would be
press passes, that'd be damn great. WrestleMania. That'd be all the press conferences and stuff. But it's totally up to you guys. You just stay on the same page and keep being good to people and put yourself out there like you're doing. And shoot, man, who's to say you can't go over all the world with what you're doing, following your passion through wrestling?
No doubt. And if anything, you're clear motivation for it, like all the way.
Heck yeah, man. I'm just a poor little boy from Mechanicsville who didn't have any toys, and all the Hebners were friends with my grandma in high school, so they would give me like wrestling VHS toys and magazines and stuff like that. And for a while, that's all I had, man. My parents and my grandma and stuff, they did the best they could, and things got better as we got older and stuff. But I just never grew out of it. It was just wrestling.
Talk about the ultimate in to become a referee. My God. The stars align and Grandma knows the Hebners. I mean,
yeah,
you could have a better front door to get into the business as far as refereeing.
Yeah, man.
Here we go again. That angry dog.
And just we cut out.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit.
You're cutting out again, buddy.
So, are we back?
Not yet. Say something.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I'm here.
Yep. You know what you're doing over there.
Sorry, guys. We're gonna have
Now
to do
you're
some
crystal
editing
clear.
on this one.
You're loud and clear
Live.
now.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So I was just saying, I knew my family had close connections with the Hebners, obviously legendary pro wrestling referees and all around good guys in the business. And but I kind of wanted to make it on my own, which coincidentally, around the time that I started, Earl and Dave Hebner were no longer working for the World Wrestling Entertainment anymore anyway, so they weren't able to help me out there.
So, out of obviously that's huge motivation there, but out of the current referees in the world right now, who are some people you do look up to or kind of just is a fan of yourself?
Every
Yep, cutting out again.
Darn it.
Is he on a farm?
Sorry, buddy.
There it is. There's back.
I can hear you now. We're gonna get this together. Don't worry, people that's listening. Now. We'll get it together. All right. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead with the question again.
I'm still hanging tough.
There you go.
We are.
Hear you now.
So where were we?
Yes. So current people, current referees now that you kind of are a fan of or kind of look up to.
Anybody that's signed right now to a major company.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's clearly gonna be yourself, and God knows very soon.
And I hope so. But I look to them. They know they're totally never think of how they're different than that before, but still they're certain. There's a lot of duties, or in particular W for as well, and it's just
We are getting some serious lag again.
Something's cutting out on there.
I think the dog sabotaged the internet.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. I just lost my train of thoughts that quick. Okay. Oh yeah. So one big question is, when you do get that email, that call, or however it is delivered, knowing that you're going to work another historic event and being in the UK Championship Tournament and or on the launch of the NXT UK division, I mean, what ultimately goes through your head?
Here we go. All the hard work that I've done, that I've put in for all these years, it really just means that the real work starts now.
And Does it seem real yet? I mean, they're huge milestone. Nonetheless, yes, there's still work to be done, but this is huge. To be part of something from the start.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is no better opportunity could have been presented to me right now. If there's a chance that I could be on that show a lot more often, living over there, like I said earlier, my wife's formerly British. We're going to go try to give things a try in the UK for a little while now. Let her live with her family for a little while. And it just feels like I could be in the right place at the right time. And for me as a performer, I feel like it's the next evolution of what I need to be doing to constantly get better, to kind of be working with those people on a consistent basis.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, the UK launch for WWE's been a good long time coming. I mean, God, it took over a year to get off the ground now, and I was thrilled to see that they have all these tapings lined up. So it's finally going to start getting them some momentum over there and get that whole thing rolling finally. Because for a while it's okay, we got this champion, but other than Pete Dunne appearing, here and there on some NXT shows, it was just kind of like thrown out there with no real direction. Now it's finally going to have like a real direction and a real feel to it, that other than just like the stable of like talent.
Yeah, and to that point, I think they didn't want to throw a whole show out there with no real direction, and I think that was more of the bigger one to focus on, just to make sure that they've got the talent that they want, enough of it. I believe there's a lot more talent that are a part of it that haven't even started having matches on the shows yet, so they're ready to deliver. They're ready to deliver something big, something different. I think that there's a ton of talent in the UK that I've been working with for years now. Literally, out of this last tournament, we had 18 people. I had worked with 16 of them at least twice. And just from getting my butt out and around while I'm over there, too. Shoot, man, I'll treat the countries like I treat the states, where I just want to go to them all, And so I just go and work as many places as I can. And for a while there, I've seen how good these guys are, and the shows themselves are amazing. I mean, it's not super often that you go to an independent show in the U.S. where there's a giant crowd, like a real entranceway, or like even like real medical people to help you in the back if you need it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's just a whole nother level of professionalism. And I think as a whole, yeah, there's some stuff that's not that great, just like anywhere else. But as a whole, like almost all of their dudes and girls look the part and act the part and wrestle the part and are just kicking butt and have waited and fought so hard when they had nothing to fight for, to try to keep their towns up in their local area and get as good as they could without constantly working with everyone else here in America that's working with the major companies all the time. And they just found a way. So everyone that helped get that off the ground, the ones that are a part of NXT UK, and the ones that are a part of the upcoming World of Sport, and the ones that even aren't but did their job for years and years to help make this happen, deserve it. So there's a lot going on over there, and I think either way, and especially with the other stuff that came up, obviously working for New Japan when they come over to the UK is a huge deal to me. But I think just all around, there's a lot of opportunity over there right now, and it just kind of feels like right place, right time for me, that I happen to have a lot of unique experience, be super hungry for it, happen to know all of the people that currently work there, and maybe I can be a part of it more often.
It really shows how the world is really getting smaller in professional wrestling. When you got New Japan running the UK, WWE running the UK, New Japan running California, WWE opening like a straight up territory in the UK. It's like everything's connected now. And it's just going to mean, in my mind, it's going to mean more work for everybody. If they're trying to run all these different spots at the same time, you got to have different crews to fill all these different spots.
Yeah, and wrestling as a whole is getting better last few years. Like, is it back to how it was in the 1970s and 80s or whatever, where it was sold out, all these thousands of people every week? No. But it's gotten better since I started in it. A lot better. And if you're willing to do a lot of the stuff that's worked for me and put yourself out there and promote yourself in a positive way and don't get involved on anything stupid on social media and just, you know what I mean? And just keep putting yourself out there, that there's enough to go around right now. And yeah, it's freaking awesome. This is last year and this year, like the craziest years in wrestling yet. All these company mergers and partnerships and stuff like that. It's helping us all out. The houses are up. We're able to get paid more, so that we're able to support our families on this and thus be able to not have other kind of jobs and do this more and actually make a living at what we're trying to make a living at. Whether or not we get offered this TNA or Ring of Honor or WWE contract or whatever, it's really cool to still be able to say that you're a pro wrestler or a pro wrestling referee who travels the world, and this is what you do. This is
Let me ask you this about wrestling as a whole. Wrestling as a whole, you've seen a lot of wrestling for a long time. You've been in the game for a while. What's the biggest change that you've seen in wrestling from 10 years ago, and what's the biggest change you would like to see wrestling go within the next 10 years?
I feel like it's a lot easier to get noticed now. And the real main thing of that is, well, I guess it's kind of two things. Two, I think people are more accepting of who gets into the business, sometimes to a fault, bringing a lot of people in who probably shouldn't be in. But I think it's easier to get in, and I think it's easier to get noticed because of social media. Because it doesn't cost you anything to film these promos all the time and get yourself out there. And a lot of times that's going to get noticed way more than your match that you did even in front of 400 people at this really awesome show. That 2 weeks from now, they're like, what did it do for you? Did you get a great video of it? Are you sending it to places? You know what I mean? Like, what's the call to action here? Whereas if you can get everybody sharing your personal stories, and a lot of that is people are more accepting of the journey now too. I don't have to pretend I'm a superstar or anything like that. I can just cut it straight and say, hey, I think I got a really cool story just telling you guys my journey and what I'm doing to try to make it still, you know? And I think that entertainment changed. People's attention spans changed, and for a while that created for some chaotic wrestling and stuff. But I think now there's like a lot more reality, obviously the reality TV or MMA and stuff like that, and people have what they think is a better idea of what's real, so it ends up affecting what we do for entertainment as well. And I don't know, I think we're doing a good job of keeping up with the times, and I think we're doing a good job of putting like wrestling back into wrestling. And there are jobs all around, and you just got to work hard and go out and get them.
Putting wrestling back into wrestling. That sounds like something Rip Rogers would say.
He probably would. He definitely would. But I love the show. I love all the show stuff. I'm a big theater arts guy. I did all that stuff in high school and middle school, and then right after high school, I didn't go to college, but I did like local stuff, and I love that kind of thing. So I'm a real show guy too.
Right on.
So about a match, you're in the back, you know what match you're going to be working, and you get the description of it. How do you know if a match is going to? Do you know if a match is going to do well before the guys go out there? Let's say for like younger guys, more green guys, and what would you do?
Sometimes you can say, "Oh man, I've really freaking got my work cut out for me in this one. All right, time to hustle." And then a lot of times you're like, man, this is going to be awesome. And there are a couple times, sometimes you really don't realize how awesome a match is until you like watch it back later or something, which I really don't even find the time to do as often. I used to do that pretty religiously just to study myself. And I'd listen to it with the sound off and just see if our body language was good enough to demonstrate what we're doing and all kinds of stuff. And I probably should I watch everybody else now. I don't always go back and watch what I've done sometimes.
Does your approach change at all when you know that a match could may be more challenging to present to the fans?
Yeah, sometimes you just get weird booking, you know. A lot of these kind of like independent shows don't always have ideas that make the most sense, and you just kind of gotta make chicken crap into chicken salad.
I was wondering. Yeah, I was wondering that as you as a referee, especially like if it's on a show that's not as well run, or like you're kind of the voice of experience there. Do you really gotta at times like kind of assert yourself and be like, look, what you're trying to do, we need to do this a different way because it's gonna look silly, or like to protect your own interests so you don't look silly as an official, to be like, look, someone's gotta distract me so this can happen behind my back. You can't just, to protect the integrity of the official.
That's not even a big worry. I'll just tell them, hey, all right, cool, here's how we do that. You need to accomplish this spot. I got a good one for that. We'll do this, so then this guy distracts me, or I'm distracted by whatever. And I don't worry about that kind of stuff. It's really more like if you think they're going to go over time, or you think, man, shoot, man, sometimes these goofball indie guys just really don't like each other, and you might have to worry more about how hard they're hitting, or if something crazy in the match is going to happen, like somebody's diving off of something and there's potential for real risk and injury there. So I guess more of those kind of situations I would worry about. Otherwise, it's just kind of like, hey, it's game time. We don't have time to worry. We just got to make this the best we can. And if I'm on a smaller show, yeah, sure. If something's really, really dumb, then I'm going to say, hey, no, we shouldn't be doing that. We've got kids in the crowd, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Or if I'm working for a major company, it's not my job to care what the storyline is. That's a totally different situation. I'm just there to do my job. I don't have to agree with it, as long as it's not like killing a baby or something crazy that I just don't want to be seen a part of. It's still going to be within the confines of wrestling here, and even as the referee, I'm still just playing a wrestling referee. So it's not really about my thoughts or my opinion or my ego. I'm just there to make it work.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, so again, you still have bigger and more aspirations and goals you want to achieve. Where are some other countries that you haven't tapped into, if there is any?
So I think within the next few months here, I'd like to go do some Germany. Okay, that'd be cool. There's a really cool one in Switzerland.
Wait. If I can just take a step back, I'm not sure. I know we talked, but have you announced what your future plans is within the next month?
Yeah. So get this. I went to England for 3 weeks. That's how I ended up doing all the stuff you're talking about, the New Japan, the WWE, and all these amazing independent shows that I could list. But I digress. So I just kind of went there on a whim because I was sick of not seeing my wife for the last 6 months, and I was in the right place at the right time, and all these amazing things happened. And then I was like, okay, well, we've had a really great trip. I got to take her to Italy with me. I taught 2 classes in Italy, pro wrestling, and then we spent a day before and a day after there, just to do some tourist stuff and have husband and wife time. And then we were like, hey, we had a really good time. It's probably not even going to be that sad this time, even though I probably won't see you again until Christmas. And then the day before I left England, someone, after I've been reaching out to a bunch of different companies that are reputable and have a lot of experience doing this sort of thing, and basically it's a lot of hoops that you got to jump through sometimes in order to do this whole thing the correct way, the legal way. And I happen to be offered a new work visa for 3 months, and I'm able to go pretty much right back. So I'm going back in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So it wasn't a sad goodbye this time. I went from one day thinking, man, it's going to be another 6 months before I see my wife face to face again. Just crappy connections on Skype until the dog gets me.
Yeah, till the dog gets you. So yeah, you said Germany.
Now I'm going right back over there. So yeah, Germany would be a cool one to check off the list. I'd love to go back to Italy. That was amazing. Wild Boar Wrestling, Scuola Italia Wrestling. Awesome school out there. Alex Lash hooked it up. Welcome back anytime. So maybe I'll go and hit that up for a week or something while I'm over there. Who knows? Awesome scene in Ireland right now. Scotland's got ICW. They're awesome. Ireland's got OTT, Over the Top Wrestling. They're awesome. They're kicking butt in Dublin. Dublin's just an awesome city anyways, and I got a few friends that live there now. It's nice having friends everywhere, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because just as a person and being able to travel, I love traveling anyways. I always watch, world documentaries and National Geographic and stupid stuff. I watch that more than I watch, TV shows. It's either wrestling or something like a documentary every time. I'm a super nerd. and it's 9 times out of 10 it's wrestling. Especially these days, I'm so in the zone. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna try to treat those countries like I treat the states and go all over.
Yeah, I mean, you've already done and have been affiliated with WWE, the NXT UK division, and their live taping tickets are on sale, and sounds like some of those places you named, there might be tapings there. So who knows?
Yeah, I know that they're coming back to Cambridge in about 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that ought to be pretty cool.
Would like to see my guy on TV again, you know.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I'm gonna start announcing some of the stuff that I'm gonna be doing over there on my social media and just have a little fun with it. And I always promote the shows I'm on anyway, so I'm not like, check out this major announcement.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm somebody special.
Yeah.
But I like to promote it, obviously. And when I promote some of the bigger shows, there ends up being a buzz, so that's fun for me. And I'm actually missing out on some cool stuff. I'm missing out on my good friend Michael Hayes' wedding. He's coming to Richmond September 7th to fight in the second show that Timmy Danger, myself, and Progressive Liberal Dan Richards are booking. And he's fighting against Timmy Danger. I might have spoiled that one. But Michael Hayes, Ohio Valley Wrestling champ, amazing athlete, just the man. Look him up. You'll be wild. So I fully see him getting way out there more and more. So I wanted to throw a line to him. Plus, he let me live with him for quite a while. He was just a really good friend. So I'm going to miss his wedding.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss. There is an amazing company near Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, different area of Tennessee, but called Next Gen Wrestling Tennessee. They're tearing it up these days. I go for them every month. They're doing a live taping, or I guess not a taping. They're doing a live stream show with Impact Wrestling. So I had to turn that down. I had to go ahead and say, hey, I can't make that one anymore. And that's rare for me. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. But this is a little different. I'm going to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm missing out on the Progress US tour.
Oh, that's right.
Which was going to be quite amazing. But I have a feeling that I won't entirely be missing out on Progress altogether.
Yes, being that you've worked there and there's, they're from out. Yeah.
They're like the most fun because it's like really just like gritty, good wrestling, but also just like that crazy, crazy energy kind of crowd where they're just so into it on a whole different level. And like when you're working your butt off for 20, 25 minutes, refereeing a big old tag match or whatever, everybody's working hard, busting their butt, working up a sweat, and the crowd's just keeping you so motivated into it the whole time. They're not dying. They're so with it.
Yeah.
And it's like that every time. It's an addiction. It's great.
Yeah, you definitely spoke about that in another interview about just the scene there. Everyone brings it. The fans, the new workers,
the stalker
people that's been there
and
for
all that. That's not just on WWE. They do that at all the shows. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a goal to definitely get to a Progress show over there. Hey, but when you got friends over there now,
that's true, man.
Come through.
That's true. Hey, but this American tour is going to be sick in August. They're literally over the course of like 8 or 9 days. They're hitting Philly, Boston, New York, Detroit, Chicago, and Seattle.
You will be in Philly. We'll definitely be there.
ECW Arena.
That's right. That's right.
We'll be there.
Hey, I got knocked out for a good 3 or 4 seconds by Rick Steiner in the ECW Arena one time.
Oh, jeez.
Wrong end of a Steiner line. Kind of. Little schmoz, crazy show. Get this little side story. So there's this group called UWF TNA where they partnership with TNA back in like 05, 06, 07, right when I was starting out. Maybe even into 08 a little bit. I don't know. But Hermie Sadler, the NASCAR driver, ran the shows. It was wild. And for one of the matches in the ECW arena, they had the Dudley Boys versus the Steiner Brothers. And I don't think I was the referee of the match, but it ended in just a big brawl, and they were fighting up on the entrance ramp and stuff like that. And I ran out with other referees to hold them apart. And Rick Steiner just leans over like he's going to punch Bubba Ray and forearms me right in the side of the head. And I go down only for like a good 3 or 4 seconds, but he got me good, man. So ECW Arena, bro.
He's hardcore. There you go.
I was like 18, 19 years old or something like that. It was awesome.
Sheesh. All right.
Yeah, go check out Progress, man.
Yeah, I mean,
amaze you.
I missed it last year when they went up to New York. Jamal did go for that, but
yeah, I was in New York last year for both shows, and I'll be in Brooklyn this year. I mean, not Brooklyn. I'm sorry. I'll be in Philly this year.
Philly. About to say what?
That's awesome. We toured up down in New Orleans. So. We toured up down in New Orleans at WrestleMania weekend this year.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring that up, but I could imagine you really did have probably no sleep, considering that there was show after show after show after show, and I'm sure the demand was there.
Feels great to be busy.
I hear that.
So I'll never complain, and I'm a weirdo, man. I never sleep anyways. I'm up all hours of the night watching wrestling, eating blueberries or something crazy, and playing video games, and then trying to get a little bit of sleep, getting like 5 hours, and waking up the next morning just ready to go, whatever it is. I just make myself go do something to stay awake, and I'll be times where I'm just dead beat in the middle of the day, and I'm just like, I gotta keep going, especially now that I'm in town, and especially now that I'm in town for a limited amount of time. I gotta be a family man too. I got my parents that after this, like if I keep going back and forth all the time, I'm not always going to have a long period of time where I'm living with them again. I'm living with them right now because it just made more sense to do this instead of stay in my apartment by myself while my wife's holding down the fort in England right now. Yeah, we got a nice house in England, beautiful. Can't wait to live in it.
I can imagine. Can't wait to visit. That's the most important thing.
But I did it, man. I did what I came over there to do, and it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but these last 3 weeks have been really, I think some of these times will end up kind of, I don't know if defining me is the right word, but shaping me maybe to even grow, and I feel like I've leveled up. I feel like I've leveled up as a performer, and I also feel like it took me a while, but I'm starting to show that I'm leveling up in other people's eyes too.
Yeah.
Which I think is also a good goal. Obviously, just do it to make yourself happy, but it's nice to be recognized and have people say, hey, when we start having these bigger shows, this is the guy.
Yeah.
So here we go. Time to stay on these bigger shows.
Definitely congratulations, man. From everything you said, it's a lot of work, from the moving, being away from your family, being away from your wife, the sleepless nights, the long travels.
And it's all good, man. People ask me, like, how do you make your relationship work? And I was like, because I have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's life. It's like, well, yeah. And this is just the cards we're dealt, and it's only temporary. It's not forever. Is it great? No. Is it ideal? Not at all. It sucks sometimes, but we're adults. We get it. Yeah. And my wife used to be a professional wrestler. Yeah. I don't know if you would have ever heard of the Blossom Twins. They worked for TNA for a year, and they started off on the British boot camp. So she knows the deal, and she was stopped wrestling a few years back, but she's so supportive of me. I got her to come and her twin sister to come to the New Japan show. I think they might have gotten on the itch a little bit. So we'll see where it goes. They had a blast. I did too. And I think honestly for them it would be a really good time, really good scene over there right now.
Oh yeah.
Since you brought that up, I wanted, your wife and her twin sister are bloggers, and I saw a couple pictures from the 72 hours in Pisa on their website. So
we got the one with the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And
I saw that. The traditional goofy tourist picture. Very, very good job, Captain Morgan, leg holding up that the tower.
Yeah.
But since you travel so much and really have a part of the business that people don't really understand because it's not presented as a part of the business. Again, you said it yourself, you're a person in the background. Have you thought about vlogging since that's what your wife does? Have you thought about starting a YouTube channel? Or
I do have a YouTube channel. I don't really do so much with it these days. It was really for a few years there just to put up cool stuff I did every once in a while, or just kind of put up whatever. Or usually if I did something silly, like I ended up wrestling a match against another referee or something like that. I have a bunch of that stuff on there. It would be too much for me to go through and try to find every match. Plus, a lot of these places started doing their own streaming devices, so they'd rather you go through that to watch their content. And I'm not.
Well, not necessarily that, but one thing I missed is,
as far as
Kevin Steen's Weekend
I was going to say,
Escapades.
but as far as vlogging, I did this for a few weeks. As soon as I lost that job, I picked up the camera and started recording, and I only did it for like 4 weeks. And the first one was kind of weird, and then I felt like the next 3 showed some really cool and interesting stuff, and I broke it up into like little highlight videos and little interviews with people and stuff like that. I interviewed Rip for like 5 minutes on one of them, just something quick, get into some good questions, and then show some of my travels, some of my sites and stuff. But you know what? Whenever I got to the shows, the real meat of what I wanted to put out, I ended up being so busy that I couldn't actually record. And I don't got like a camera guy follow me around or nothing like that. So a lot of these times I'll drive these long ways all by myself. If no one else I know is booked on it, I still got to be there. But I just couldn't give it the attention it deserved.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, it was cool that I tried it out for sure. And writing, nah. Maybe not. I wrote wrestling TV before, and that was a freaking nightmare sometimes. I wrote TV at OVW with Cornette for 2 years, and I wrote TV at OVW with Al Snow and a few others for 2 years.
Wow.
So that's another way I got really freaking good, because I knew exactly what they wanted out of each and every person on our show, and then I can act as an agent and actually be in the ring to help make sure it gets executed.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just found a way to weasel my way into everything a little bit. That was enough writing involving wrestling or travel or anything for me. I'm totally good if I don't do that anymore.
I mean, if you were writing TV with Jim Cornette, I mean, that's like a master's level class in writing pro wrestling television. So it'd be hard pressed to get much of a better experience than that out there.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but how do you not get good in that position? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sink or swim.
You're handed this amazing opportunity. For me, I've got all kinds of weird stories about stuff that I've done outside of refereeing that have helped me in wrestling like that. And I don't know, man. I had no choice but to absorb all their freaking knowledge.
That's good. That's good. Student to the game still, and all of the things are paying off as it is.
Because I'd love to freaking work for WWE for the next 20, 25 years, and then when my butt gets old and can't get up and down anymore, maybe I can help them put together matches.
Well, eventually when you get signed, because it's clearly got to happen very soon, because we're going to just put that out there now. Don't forget about your little old friends over at the Big Gold Belt podcast, because we definitely need to do the show again.
I never do, man. I never forget.
Recap.
Hopefully next time I'll have to ask somebody's permission first.
Right.
And then they say, yeah, go ahead. Go talk to them boys. They're cool.
That's awesome, dude. So anyway, again, so you're going to be leaving the States in about 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yep.
2 weeks.
So I leave here on the 24th. I get there on the 25th. I'll go ahead and spill a little beans now, because I'm probably going to put it on my own social media tomorrow. So
boom,
maybe we'll save any posts about it. I'll post about it tomorrow. But whoever's listening right now, you can hear. So I told you I'm not going to miss out on Progress entirely. The day that I get there on the 25th, I'm getting off a plane in Manchester. I got some crazy way of getting there. It's like literally Chicago to Montreal to Dublin to Manchester or something. But I just wanted to hurry up and get the cheapest flight I could. And when you're only buying them a few weeks out, you kind of press for options. So I did what I could, and I got some crazy flight. And then the morning that I land in Manchester, I get there like 7:30 in the morning. Probably going to take me an hour to get out of the airport and show immigration all my papers and get my bags and all that stuff. Get the tram all the way to my house with my wife, pick up my referee gear that's over there, drop some stuff off, hop on a train to London, and get ready to go referee for Progress. I think it's chapter 73, Midweek Matters.
That is awesome, dude.
Right to work, fresh off the plane and right into the office.
And we don't got time to be tired either. We're going to ref our little heart out that night and work hard for them boys. If they're working hard, bumping their butts off, there ain't no reason I can't slap that mat hard.
I hear that. or take a bump because you've done that
Whatever's
really
needed.
too.
Whatever's needed.
No job is too big and no job is too small. If you need to park a car, you'll park a car. Wear a hot dog suit, you'll wear a hot dog suit.
I just think this is how you make it, bro. I hope I'm right.
You're definitely doing some things right. That's for sure. So anyway, for anyone who definitely wants to be in the loop with everything that the referee Chris Sharpe is up to, can you give them your social medias?
Yeah, man. Just hit up Ref Chris Sharpe, SHARPE. Got a little E on the end there. And it's the same thing for Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. That's really all I have. If there's others, I don't have Snapchat. Kind of felt like that one was more for the kids. Get a little older now.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I tell, and hey, a little side note, I tell wrestlers all the time, well, you got to get this stuff. It's going to be an easy way to put yourself out there. They're like, oh, I don't like posting on it. I said, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You don't have to post real life stuff. Just post about your shows you're doing. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, your audience has it.
That's right. Wise words there. Yeah, definitely. All the social medias will be in our descriptions for the show. And you definitely want to take a look into it too. There's some interesting things from the sightseeing in the different countries to the shows and promotions he's getting ready to work.
Amateur photographer. Amateur landscape and architecture photographer.
Hey, you and your wife are taking some great pictures, dude. I mean, again, the pictures in Italy was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed them. But you get a whole bunch of that, and also your the things you do in your downtime. You know, the hiking and all that stuff is there. So you know,
I live it up, bro. I climb mountains, literally. I climb mountains, and I'm climbing a mountain up to the top of this business if I have to. No oxygen tank. Give me the heaviest backpack. Throw it on my back and watch me just keep working until I pass out. Guess what? We ain't passing out. We ain't passing out because we keep the cardio. We're prepared.
That's my guy right there. Hey, dude, again, I know I've said it over 4 times already today, but the 5th time won't hurt. But congratulations on all the success. And it's damn good to see a friend on TV.
To all of you.
We appreciate it, man. You're everywhere again, and it's definitely a warming feeling to seeing. You know, like I said, we have the sidebar talks at the Nova Pro shows and everything you want to do and so on. But you know,
it's nice to sit down and actually talk.
Yeah. This was definitely something we wanted to do. So we kind of booked this out about 2 months ago or a month ago. So we'll be seeing you for your checkup in about 2 months.
Let's do it. That sounds perfect.
And we want to see that beautiful house of yours you're talking about.
I got you. That'd be a great exclusive.
It'll be the UK wrap-up show come the end of the UK tours.
Yeah. Right now I'm gonna be there I'll land July 25th and I come back October 17th. So I've got quite a few things that I got lined up. So we'll have another fun little episode.
All right. Awesomeness. Sounds good to me. So for Chris Sharpe, thank you for joining us, and for the Big Gold Belt podcast, everyone that's tuned in, thank you, and everybody that's reached out and everything, we appreciate it, and we will catch you guys for our next episode soon.